Hello all. So we've reached the Hindu Metroplus's Instagram handle, and today I will be hosting the live video. And my name is Gauri. I work with the Hindu Metroplus, and I'm just waiting for the guest to join us. Yeah, she's here. Hi, Shweta.
Hello, Gauri. How are you?
Hello. Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, just a moment. I think there's a little problem with the earplugs, so I'll just chuck them.
Yeah,
Just a moment.
no worries. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Better now.
Right. Hi, and welcome to the Hindu Metroplus. So, for all of those who just joined, today we have with us Shweta Kulkarni, who is a fellow of the Royal Astronomical Society of England, and she also heads an organization called the Astron Era. So, we will be talking a lot about the solar eclipse that's happening tomorrow. Shweta, should we wait for a few more people to join us, or should we go ahead? It's about like 16 people here. I think we can go ahead. Yeah. Right. Hello.
Yeah. Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. Yes. All right. Okay. So, guys, can you just tell us if you can hear us properly and see our full faces and so on? Because I see a lot of these comments that say that you're not able to see my face a little higher. Okay. How about this? Is this okay? Can you see us both? Yeah. All right. All right. So So I think we can probably go ahead. Yes. So before we dive right into the topic, can you tell us a little bit about your work with Astronera and what you guys do with regard to the education program?
Repeat that. I'm sorry.
Right. So before we dive right into the topic that we're supposed to discuss, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how your journey, a little bit about your journey and your work with Astronera?
Yeah, so I am Shweta Kulkarni and I'm currently living in Pune. And Astronera is actually world's first astronomy dedicated e-learning platform. I was incubated by Indian Institute of Management Bangalore and Indian Institute of Management Nagpur in the Women Startup Program in 2018. And their kind of Astron era began and it became what it is right now because of their guidance and help. But about astronomy, I have always been fascinated since I was just a little girl. And then I had decided since then that I wanted to do some career in astronomy. Of course, I wanted to become an astronaut in the beginning, but as I grew up, I thought that I could, become an astronomer. And I realized that telling people about astronomy, communicating astronomy is really important right now. So when I was in my 11th grade, when I was 16, my parents gifted me a telescope and I started organizing small stargazing programs for my friends and family. And these got amazing response. So, it kind of boosted me. And we started organizing more and more programs just with some friends who were helping me. So the venture actually started back in 2011. And then in 2013, I registered a non-profit organization named Astron SHK Trust. So it still works and we do a lot of charity work or social entrepreneurship, as you may call it. And then Astron Era was started as private limited company in 2018. I'm a student at
Right.
University of Central Lancashire from UK. I'm doing my distance learning in astronomy.
Right, right. All right. So tomorrow is the solar eclipse, right? So as you might have seen, as all of you might have seen our poster, it said that it's going to be the deepest solar eclipse of the century. So what exactly does it mean? Why is it the deepest solar eclipse of the century?
Actually, when annular eclipse happens, it actually shows us a ring of the sun. It's only the middle part
Hmm.
of the sun, and we can see a solar ring. But this time, the
Right.
moon is going to be so much closer to us that it's going to appear a bit bigger. And even though it's going to be an annular solar eclipse, it's going to look as if it's a total solar eclipse. We will be able to see, but this ring is going to be really to other annular eclipses. So that's why we can call it a deepest solar eclipse.
Right, right. So I think before that we should have probably discussed what an annular solar eclipse is, and if you can tell us a little bit about the different types of solar eclipses, that would be great.
Yeah, so the eclipses happen when the sun, moon, and the earth align together, right? The moon is going around the earth and the earth is going around the sun. But this always does not happen on a same plane. So the moon's orbit can be a little bit higher or lower than the ecliptic plane. And when all these astronomical bodies are aligned on the ecliptic plane, we can see either annular eclipse or the solar eclipse. So annular eclipse is the we can either see lunar eclipse or solar eclipse. Lunar eclipse we can only see when the earth is in the middle of the moon and the sun, and earth's shadow falls on the surface of the moon. This only happens on the full moon's night. Now coming to the solar eclipse happens only on the new moon's night. If you notice, tomorrow it's going to be new moon's day. So the moon and the sun are going to align together. So the moon is going to come between the sun and the earth. And from the perspective of us earthlings, the sun is going to be covered by the moon. And that's why we see the solar eclipse. For this annular solar eclipse, there are actually three main parts, I would say, of the solar eclipse. One is total solar eclipse. Second one is partial solar eclipse. And third, the rarest one is annular solar eclipse. So in total solar eclipse, the moon covers the entire surface of the sun and we cannot see the sun at all. In the partial solar eclipse, moon covers only some part of the sun and the other part of the sun can be seen. And in annular solar eclipse, we can see a circular ring of the sun and the moon is in the middle. This happens because the ecliptic, the eclipse, this happens because the moon going around the earth does not have completely circular orbit. It's kind of elliptical orbit. So that's why the distance between the earth and the sun can vary during some times. Okay. So when the distance between the sun and the moon is very far, the moon cannot cover the whole disk of the sun and it can cover only a part of it. So when the complete eclipse at the maximum time, at the maximum moment of the eclipse, we'll see the moon covering only middle part of the sun and we can see the ring around it. Another interesting thing that I'd like to mention about eclipses here is that Rahu and Ketu in astrology are closely related to eclipses. Just today morning, my maid came to my house and she was telling something about tomorrow, how she is going to, do some rituals because of the eclipses. And I was trying to explain to her and she was asking me about Rahu and Ketu. So I feel it's important to share about it. Actually, Rahu is north lunar node. And because of Rahu, we see solar eclipses. And Ketu is south lunar node. And because of it, we see lunar eclipses. So Rahu and Ketu are not any astronomical bodies. They are just point in space, if we look at them in astronomical perspectives. So from these two points, which are actually called lunar nodes, north lunar node and south lunar nodes, from these spaces, from these points in the space, there is always some kind of eclipse happening. So tomorrow's eclipse, Rahu is going to be the point on the Earth, and that's why we are going to see the solar eclipse.
Right. So, as and when we are conversing, we might have to take a few questions as well. I think Meghna has a question here. How rare is the kind of eclipse that we'll see tomorrow?
Actually, it is quite rare because the alignment of the moon and the Earth, the distance between them really matters. The moon should be far enough to not to cover the complete surface of the sun. If the moon is too close,
Right.
it kind of it's easier for it to cover the whole surface. But I would still say the last annular solar eclipse was just last year in 2019, 26th December.
Right.
It
Right.
was so I think in over 30 years, 30 or 40 years, annular solar eclipse repeats itself. The one that I had seen, the first annular solar eclipse in my life was, I think, back in 2010, January 15th, 2010.
Right. Right. So, like, what can a lay observer expect tomorrow? And yeah, like if you were to step out on the step out of your terrace, onto the terrace, what would you see?
So actually for all over India, it's going to be different views. It's going to cover only a small part of North India from where people will able to see the annular solar eclipse. But for most of the
Right.
people in southern parts of India will only be able to see partial solar eclipse. So from Pune, from Chennai, from Bangalore, we are going to see the partial solar eclipse. Another very amazing fact about this eclipse is that it is on the June solstice, right? Tomorrow is 21st June, which is the largest
Yeah.
day of the year. And
Right.
this, I think, is kind of a rare occurrence. And next time it's going to happen is going to be in 2039. So it's going to be so many years until the annular solar eclipse comes on the June solstice.
Right, nice. So, someone here had a question about whether it's safe to capture a solar eclipse on his cell phone.
Actually, to watch the solar eclipse, you need kind of a solar filter. So it
Yeah,
is kind of a separate filter which is safe for your eyes to view through it. And if you don't have solar glasses, the normal sunglasses are not good enough. You need to buy special solar glasses, and you have to put
right,
those solar filters in front of your mobile camera and then capture it. So I would still suggest not to do that as it may harm the camera, the lens of your mobile phone.
right, right. So, you were talking about how the south of India will be seeing a partial solar eclipse, right? So, what are the? Can you specify the locations, the specific locations that in the country that from where the visibility of the eclipse will be high?
There is some towns in Uttarakhand from Dehradun. It's going to be visible as annular solar eclipse. Then there is town named Sirisa from where it's going to be annular solar eclipse. Maybe later on I could post the names of the cities or towns from where we will be able to see the annular solar eclipse, because there are many small villages and cities from North India where we can see. I think also from Delhi it's going to be annular solar eclipse visible.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So, now that we're all, most of us are inside our homes, there are like watch parties online and so on, right? So, do you have any insight into those? Like, if you were to sit at home and watch an eclipse virtually, how would you go about it?
Yeah, so what I do is I like to watch live stream of this website called Time and Date. So we are actually importing their live streaming on our website, which you can find on astronera.org/astrostream. So you can go on Astronera's profile and click on our link in the bio, and it will directly take you to the live streaming. So you can watch live streaming there. Another fun thing that you can do is you can download this app named Stellarium, and this app actually
Okay,
helps you do stargazing as well. And you can just set up the date and time, and you can see eclipse happening even this year or somewhere sometime in the past or sometime in the future. So it's fun. Even if you
right,
miss
yeah,
it tomorrow,
right.
even if you miss the live streaming, you can always go on Stellarium and watch it whenever you want.
Right. But, seeing it from an observatory would not ever match an online experience, right? What is your take? What is your take on
Yeah,
that?
actually, honestly, for me, it is kind of a thing for astronomers that when you're very passionate about astronomy and when you want to observe an astronomical events, the clouds have to come in a way. Even now in Pune, it's extremely
Yeah.
cloudy, and I don't know how much I'll be able to watch it. But when in December the eclipse was happening, we had set up the telescope, and lots of people visited our office to watch the partial solar eclipse. So it is an amazing experience just knowing that. Imagine you don't know anything about astronomy and you just suddenly look up, you understand that suddenly the light in the sky is decreasing, it's getting kind of darker. And if there are clouds and it's kind of don't need any solar filter glasses, you see that there is the crescent of it seems as if there is a crescent of the moon in the sky, which is extremely bright. But you can actually see the crescent of the sun, and that is extremely intriguing.
Right, right. So I think we have a few questions here which I might have scrolled past. One second. Right. What kind of glasses should I use to view the eclipse? Use
Actually,
to
you
see the
need
eclipse, yeah.
yeah, you need special solar filter. But I would like to show you this little tool that you can make at home, and for which you don't need any
Yes, yeah.
special material. So you can take any cereal box at your home, and all you need is piece of paper sticking to the bottom of this box from inside, white piece of paper, and in the front, put the middle part close. On this side, I have put an aluminium foil, and in the middle, there is a little hole. So from this hole, the
Right.
sun rays should pass, and you can look from in here, and you'll see the shadow of the sun or the light of the sun, and you can watch the eclipse at
On
the
the other
bottom
end,
of this
yeah.
from here. We also have a tutorial of how to make this on our web AstroStream. So you can just go on our profile, click the link in the bio, and you can get a tutorial of how to do such things.
Right.
Yeah.
I had earlier seen it, earlier in the day, I had seen the process of making it. I think you had it in your
Yeah.
website.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Gayatri here asks about what will be the visibility like in Chennai specifically.
In Chennai, we are going to have partial solar eclipse. So I think the moon would cover about 20-25% part of the sun. So you'll absolutely be able to see the crescent of the sun tomorrow morning. And that will be it. That's going to be the maximum point. I wouldn't say that there's going to be a big difference in the daylight that you will see, but I'd still urge each one of you, wherever you are all over India, I think what you can observe amazingly is how the light passes through the trees because of the pinhole effect from the space that's between the leaves. And you'll see that the leaves shadow does not appear normal. It appears as crescents. So that's a way to observe it as well. And that you can observe from Chennai too. Also, another thing I think you can observe it with partial solar eclipse is you can observe your own shadow, how much difference you can see in the shadow before the eclipse and during the maximum point of eclipse. So actually for tomorrow, the eclipse is going to be for 3 hours and 20 minutes, 26 minutes or something like
Right.
that.
Right.
It's to begin at around 10:15 in the morning. Of course, it could be a bit different for eastern and western cities in India, but approximately 10:15 the eclipse begins, and 11:55 is going to be the maximum eclipse point. So
Right.
then the moon will cover the maximum portion of the sun then, and the eclipse is going to end at 1:40 in the afternoon.
Right. So Ayush here has a question. How important is an eclipse for astronomical studies?
Eclipses they were previously really important for astronomical studies. One of the most amazing discovery because of the eclipses was one of the theories by Einstein that during the total solar eclipse, we actually saw a light which is actually behind the sun, but because the gravity of the sun bent the light of that star, we could see it from the earth. So eclipses can be important for many various technical reasons in astronomy, and they may lead to some discoveries. Also, another really great discovery was understanding that the earth is a circle because of the lunar eclipse. So when the shadow of the earth falls on the surface of the moon, we can understand that it's actually circular. After observing few eclipses, you should understand that.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Got it. So, Divya here has another question. Can you share any special eclipse memories, any specific ones which stand out for you?
Yes, wow. I have very few. I'm unfortunate. I have not seen many eclipses, but I'd like to share two memories with you of the eclipse. The first eclipse
Yeah.
that I saw, I was extremely young. I didn't know anything about astronomy, and I was watching the telescope for the first time, and it was, I think, partial solar eclipse happening. And I think that was one of the turning point for me to understand why eclipses happen and getting into astronomy. And that kind of pushed me to ask more questions. And that's the beauty of astronomy. When you ask more questions and as you get their answers, you kind of get more questions in your head. So I would
Yeah, yeah.
definitely, remember that memory. And then another memory about the annular solar eclipse. Back in 2011, I went to Rameshwaram in South India. From there, we were
Right.
going to see annular solar eclipse. And there were some clouds, but just watching the ring of the sun, I would never ever forget that image. It was magical. And even with the annular solar eclipse, even though sun's ring was visible, it was extremely dark. I don't remember if I have seen the total solar eclipse, but I could just imagine that if it was just as dark, even with the annular solar eclipse, how dark it must have been with the total solar eclipse.
Right, right. So can we move on? I think, yeah. So what are the various astronomical events that one should look forward to in the near future? Probably this year.
Yeah, I have kind of made a list of few over here, so we could.
Right, right.
Yeah, because there are many. Every year there are so many astronomical events, and you can always count on the meteor showers, which are extremely magical and beautiful astronomical events to observe with naked eyes. So I
Right.
will mostly focus on the events which we can see with naked eyes, so all of our viewers, kind of, they'll be able to do it
Yeah.
from their home. So there's going to be opposition of Jupiter. So opposition means it's going to be directly opposite to the sun in the sky, and because of this position, the whole surface of Jupiter gets illuminated, and we can see it the best in the sky. The other days when Jupiter is visible in the sky, when it's not in the opposition, you don't have that good views of it, but during opposition, you'll have the best views of it. This is going to happen on July 14th, and you'll be able to
Yeah.
observe Jupiter in the eastern skies in the evening, and then it will be visible throughout the night. So it's a great night to observe Jupiter. Of course, it's taken for granted that it will be in the eastern skies after the sunset, so because it's going to be opposite to the sun as it's its opposition. Then another opposition that's on the way on 20th of July is going to be Saturn. So Saturn and Jupiter
Okay.
are actually very near to each other right now in the sky, and it's going to be at the opposition on 20th of July, Saturn. Then there's going to be few meteor showers. You can observe Aquarids meteor shower on July 28th, and you can expect 55 meteors per hour. I would suggest you go observing for in the midnight, between midnight to 3 in the morning, and you can observe like 55 meteors per hour. Then there is Perseids meteor shower, which is one of the biggest meteor shower of the year, one of the two biggest meteor showers of the year, and it's going to happen on, or you can expect about 100 meteors per hour. Sometimes you can see fireballs as well of Perseids when you are in the city. And this meteor shower particularly is very famous to have colorful meteor balls. So you can see green meteors, blue
Right.
meteors, red meteors, even from the city if you're lucky. Then there is Draconids meteor shower, and the peak point of this is variable. We don't really know how many meteors you can see, but I expect it to be very less meteors to be seen. It's going to be on October 7th. Then there's going to be Orionites meteor shower on October 21st, and we can expect about 20 meteors per hour. You really have to go outside of the city, away from the light pollution, to observe this one. Then there is Leonites meteor shower, which comes on 17th of November. Even this has very low meteor rate of about 15 meteors per hour. Then we have Geminids, which is the biggest meteor shower of the year. And this year is going to be visible amazingly because on the night of new moon, and we can expect about 120 meteors per hour. So we are going to be up for a show this year when Geminids meteor shower is there.
Right.
There's going to be a solar eclipse this year on December 14th, but unfortunately, it's not going to be visible from India. It's going to be visible from the southern parts of America and some southern Africa.
Right. Right. Yeah. So we have a few questions again. I think we can take them now. Sure. Is there any truth to the myths and superstitions surrounding eclipses? I think a couple of people have the same question.
Not at all. As I told you in the morning, I was having hard time explaining this to the maid who was working in my home. But really, I don't think that you should follow any of these superstitions. People say that you should not eat during the eclipse and it keeps you healthy or something, but not at all like that. You should eat. In fact, when during the last eclipse, we had done a campaign. Even now, if you are watching this, what you can do is tomorrow during the eclipse, please eat something, take a picture and send it to us and we'll feature you, because the awareness need to be, spread that this is a superstition and nothing happens. I have always had some amazing snack during the eclipse. I mean, come on, just relax, have some snacks, enjoy the most beautiful celestial event ever. Another superstition is that the pregnant women shouldn't see the eclipse. But when my mom was pregnant with me, she saw the eclipse, and I think I turned out pretty fine. It's just that I'm a bit crazier about astronomy. So I think it's even completely fine for even pregnant ladies to watch the eclipse. Don't follow any superstition about it. The only thing that you need to follow is do not look at the eclipse with your naked eyes. It will ruin your eyes. And this is not a superstition. Please just follow this. Do not look at the eclipse with your sunglasses. They are not good enough. Try not to look at it even with the X-ray sheet. Many people think even that is okay. But I would not recommend it. You have this that you can make at home with any box, and it's so easy. You can look through this. In fact, you can just, put a pinhole on any sheet of paper, and on the wall, you can see the reflection and you can enjoy the eclipse.
Right. So I think along the same lines, some people have the same question. How can we watch the eclipse without damaging the eyes? So like she mentioned, Go ahead. Yeah.
No, that is it. I think that's the only way right now I'd recommend this box. Because, I mean, otherwise I would have said just, go to the astronomical associations near your home. They would have telescopes. They would have all the equipment to observe it safely through the telescope. They'd have the astronomical glasses, the sun glasses. But right now, because of the lockdown, I would not even, ask you guys to go in public space to do this. So just be home and you can watch how to make this box, Solar Eclipse viewing box, on our website, astronera.org/astrostream. And you can watch it through that or watch it online with live streaming.
Right. We have one more question. So how can we use an eclipse watching to inculcate a scientific temper among school students?
Well, eclipse is such a big astronomical event, and it's extremely easy to observe. You don't need any much special astronomical equipment to observe this. As I told you, just with a piece of paper with pinhole in it, you can observe the eclipse, or with the solar filter glasses. So it's just that it's so easy for you to communicate to students as to how it happens. And also the eclipses and the solar system is also in their portion in their school books. So when you tell them about this real event that's happening and they can observe it, it kind of, makes them more interested in the field of astronomy. So I guess I would say that it's pretty important, as it's so easy for anyone to get interested into astronomy if they watch the eclipse sometime.
Right, right. So we have we have a few more questions. Yes. So how do eclipses benefit humankind?
How do they benefit humankind? I
Yeah,
actually don't.
I'm not sure if we understand that question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we can move on. Yeah.
Other than the studies and the researches which have made us understand the bending of the light and the circular Earth, I mean the experiments that you can conduct and the understandings that you gain with the experiments. I think that's how the science benefit the humankind, right? So I think that's the only way.
Yeah. Right. So Paras here has a question. Why is it so? Why is it that solar eclipse? Why does a solar eclipse always occur around 2 weeks before or after a lunar eclipse?
Yes, it's true that solar eclipse and lunar eclipse always come in pair. As I told in the beginning of this video, the sun, the moon, and the earth have to come on a same ecliptic plane, and that is when we can see any kind of eclipse, let it be lunar eclipse or let it be solar eclipse. So recently there was lunar eclipse on 5th of June, and now there is solar eclipse happening. So we can see that they are coming together. It's just that the ecliptic plane, when the moon is completing its one round around the earth, it's we can predict that it's going to be on the ecliptic plane even during the new moon and during the full moon. So since during the full moon we saw the lunar eclipse, now during the new moon we are seeing the solar eclipse.
Right. And I think, Shweta, do you mind repeating the dates of those astronomical events that you mentioned? I think a few of them need more information on that. Yeah. If you can just repeat it one more time. Thank you.
Yeah, so the opposition of Jupiter is going to take place on July 14th. So you will see bright Jupiter in the eastern skies on the night of 14th. Then the Saturn is going to be at its opposition on July 20th. So Jupiter and Saturn are kind of close together. So you'll be able to distinguish them. Even that is going to appear in the night on the eastern horizon, July 20th. Then there's going to be Aquarids meteor shower on July 28th. There's going to be Perseids meteor shower on August 11th, which I recommend observing. It's going to be 100 meteors per hour. Then there is going to be Draconids meteor shower on October 7th. There's going to be Orionids meteor shower on October 21st. Leonids meteor shower on November 17th. Geminids meteor shower on December 13th, which also I recommend as it has 120 meteors per hour.
Right. I hope you all have taken a note of that. We have a few more questions. Will coronavirus be a hindrance in watching eclipse in public places due to social distancing norms? I think yes, for now, right?
Yeah, of course. I mean, you shouldn't go out of your house to watch the solar eclipse at any public spaces. Just go to your terrace or from your window. You can watch it with not your naked eyes, but with some precaution. Yeah, I would not recommend going out.
Right. And is the view of the eclipse on Earth different from an international space station?
Sorry, can you repeat that question?
Is the view of the eclipse on Earth different from an international space station?
Well, it actually depends on how International Space Station is orbiting around the Earth. So I'm not quite sure about it, but I would say that it won't be as different as it kind of orbits the Earth comparatively being very close to the Earth. So it would not really affect the view as much, I would say. But it should be in the area where the annular solar eclipse is happening. So while it is orbiting from the other parts of the world, from the other other countries or other cities, it's going to be not visible for the people on the International Space Station. But it would be amazing to orbit from southern parts of India to northern parts of India as they see partial solar eclipse, and then going to the annular solar eclipse, and then going out of the eclipse again. So for us, the eclipse is going to last for 3 hours and 26 minutes. But for people on the International Space Station, it would be very quick as they orbit they complete their orbit in the matter of just few hours. So it's going to be quick eclipse viewing for them.
Right, right. So Pradeep here asks you about your future projects and what interests you and what are the things that you look forward to? What are your projects? What are the other projects that you look forward to?
Yeah, so we are trying to kind of make Astronera as one-stop shop for astronomy. So during the pandemic, as everyone had been quarantined in their home, they kind of realized many started doing online kind of courses. Even the schools became online. So realizing that online education is really important and it's also really easy to access, I realized that authentic knowledge of astronomy should have should be there for the easy access for everybody. Because when I was young, I really struggled to understand this field and to study deeper into it. Whatever education was available online, it was taught by the scientists of NASA. So there were so many Western examples that I could not relate to. So I try to make astronomical videos from the perspective of mostly Indian people so that they can relate to it the most. Also, I try to explain some Indian concept which we kind of think are from astrology, but I believe that astrology previously was just a science, and then it kind of went on the wrong is true. So the concepts, we can take them and we can understand them better in astronomical way. So that's what I plan to do. Right now, I'm only in the process of spreading the awareness of astronomy. Unfortunately, in India, there is still not much awareness about it. We follow so much of superstitions. So right now, my goal is to create an astronomy culture in India, so that people follow astronomy through their schools and then they wish to get into the field as their career. There's not enough awareness about even what careers you can do in the field of astronomy. And ISRO is growing very fast right now, which is a proud thing for all the Indians, and we can look forward to it. But if we have people who even question the Mars orbiter mission, there were many people who said that the Mars orbiter mission even took so much of money. We could have put that money hungry in our country. So until we have such people over here and somebody to answer them, I think it's still necessary to spread the awareness of astronomy. And the next step would be in-depth education about it. So I think my future plan is just growing Astronera online and also on the campus. So there should be one place dedicated which won't have much light pollution, because light pollution is increasing day by day. Just 2 years ago, we had to go only 50 kilometers away from the city to observe the beautiful starry night. But now we have to go hundreds of kilometers away from the city to catch the beautiful starry sky. So conservation of some place where there is not much light pollution would be, I think, my another project that I look forward to.
Right, right. I think it's time for us to wrap up. So if you have any more questions, and maybe we can take 2 more questions.
Yeah,
please
sure.
type in. What time is recommended to watch meteorite showers?
Between the midnight and 3 a.m. because that is when the night is the darkest. So you'll see most of the meteors then. Also, a trick to meteors is not look through all over the sky in the night, but just stick to one constellation and observe the meteors in that constellation, and you'll observe most of the meteors there.
Right, right.
Yeah.
All right, so I think that's about it. We don't have any more questions, I think. So like Shonali mentioned in the...
And you can send your questions on Astronera or even personally on my email ID. And most of your questions would be answered on our website through our e-learning courses. So do check those out as well.
Yeah, right. So we'll also be putting up a post explaining, I mean, probably listing out all the astronomical events that she just mentioned, so that it's useful to you guys. And right. So I think we can wrap up now. Thank you so much, Shweta, for joining us this evening. And we all look forward to observing
Thank
the
you,
solar eclipse
Aston. Thank
tomorrow.
you for this talk, and thanks for everyone for joining. And I hope happy solar eclipse wishing to you all.
Bye bye. See you.